again, everybody. Welcome back to my channel and thank you for tuning back in. In this video, I'll be sharing with you what yogic concentration means and how it can help us on a daily basis, on and off the mat. How it can help us to improve the way we work or the way we operate in general. And for this, I'm going to share with you first something that I have learned in an online course that I'm doing with Kaivalyadham School of Yoga in India. And in that course, the professor, Dr. Rao, explains it in a very, very easy to understand manner. So I'm just going to share it the way he has explained it. And then I'm going to share with you something that I read in a book recently. I'll talk about this in just a bit. And after that, of course, I will share with you how I have implemented it or how I am implementing it into my life and how it has helped me. Because I like to share things that I have actually or I am actually implementing and that are working, so I can give you real and true feedback about them. And then I will share with you a couple of tools that I use to implement this into my life. Great. So let's begin with what I've learned in that course. I'm going to begin by explaining that yoga or yog comes from the Sanskrit word yuj. And yuj is etymologically rooted in two sources, yuj yujati and yuj samadhav. Yuj yujati is that which is more commonly used to explain yoga because it translates into union or to yoke or to merge. And yoga is explained, it is explained in many, many different ways, but one of the ways that we can explain it in is integration of human personality, because the human personality can broadly be understood as having three aspects: the physical aspect, the mental aspect, and the spiritual aspect. So the body, the mind, and the soul. And these three are most of the times not harmoniously blending or harmoniously working together. So yoga is that discipline which helps us to bring in harmony. Now coming to yuj samadhav. Samadhav comes from the word samadhi, and samadhi means concentration. Now yoga, or the final aim of yoga according to Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, I'll make a separate video about Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. The final aim is samadhi. And samadhi means concentration. So yoga equals to concentration. Now, what does yogic concentration mean? All of us have the capacity to concentrate, but our concentration is object-oriented or is task-oriented or activity-oriented. So our concentration is restricted or confined to that time or to that activity that we're interested in. And the rest of the day or the rest of the time, our mind is distracted. Yogic concentration refers to concentration which is second nature to the mind. It is a quality of the mind to be concentrated irrespective of the activity or the time it is involved in. Right? So it stresses on the fact that it is continuous and it is irrespective of what we're doing or what situation we are in. Great. And now I'm going to read out something, and the reason I'm doing this right after reading this is because I found it so beautiful that I literally just started reading this. This book is called Freedom Within, and this has been gifted to me by a very dear friend, and it says here liberation techniques on the Satipan meditation practice. So it is Buddhism, and it is so relevant to yogic concentration that I just reached the first chapter and I thought I should share this. So I'm going to read out a few lines here. The Buddha enumerates the Satipan practice as the only way to purify the mind. If there are gaps in one's mindfulness on the primary object, ignorance and aversion may take root. So it is necessary that yogis exert effort by directing the noting mind to the primary object so that the mind's attention reaches that object without delay. Noting with aim and effort, mindfulness develops. All presently arising objects, such as the rising and falling of the abdomen, any itching sensations, softness, roughness, fluidity, heat, coolness, lightness, tension, movement, as well as seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, bending, turning, stretching, opening and closing of the eyes, blinking of the lashes, and so forth, must be noted with aim and effort from one moment to the next. So here again, they've emphasized from one moment to the next, so continuous. Now, when the noting mind falls calm and collected on the object, there is no restlessness. The mind is not distracted as there is no gap between the noting mind and the object. Noting presently arising objects diligently, the mind is free from laziness. If there is an absence of mindfulness, the mind can become agitated, distracted, or scattered. With the presence of concentration, the mind is calm, collected, and unified. With mindfulness, there is protection from unwholesome mental states. It may not be possible to purify the mind completely and fully at once, but with moment-to-moment mindfulness, the mind remains pure and cleansed of distractions. Great. So as you can see, they've used the word concentration in there, but also moment-to-moment mindfulness. Now, if you have ever attended a yoga session or a meditation, you might have heard the teacher or the trainer saying, bring back your awareness to your breathing, bring back your awareness to the present moment, keep your awareness with your breath, feel the sensation of your inhale, of the exhale. And that is all aimed towards bringing your awareness back, because it is normal for our mind to wander. Now, and this your teacher might have even said, without any judgment at all, bring back your awareness. And why it is so important to understand that we shouldn't judge the fact that our mind starts to wander is that even a single moment or just a minute of mindfulness can have a huge beneficial impact on your life, because it takes time. Bit by bit, you're going to improve in it. And this is why yoga is called a practice. We're not just doing some asanas or doing some postures. We are practicing. And with just like anything else in life, it is with practice that improvement comes or results are met. So what I want to get to is it is a practice, and start today, start right now by noticing. This is all about increasing awareness, personal awareness. Excuse me. Just very quickly. All right, so it is about noticing consciously and consistently about any thought patterns, about your reactions or the way you are responding to situations. Now, I'm going to take again an example, a personal example. Of being in a conversation. Now, I noticed a few times, and I'm still working on it, that my mind starts to wander. I might be in a conversation with someone, but I'm thinking about something that I've got to do after, or I'm thinking about something completely different. So physically, I might be here in the conversation, but I'm not here, I'm somewhere else. And there are a few things that are wrong with this. A, it's very disrespectful to the other person. Secondly, for yourself, you might be missing out on some very, very useful information for yourself. And you might be missing out on opportunities. And know that moments never come back, just like your breath. You cannot breathe a past breath right now, and you cannot breathe a future breath in the present moment. So you have your present breath, and that's all you have. So bring your awareness to your present breath and make the most of it. Now, coming back to that example of conversation, it's not respectful. You might be missing out on opportunities, on information as well. And then now, something that I absolutely love, that I've heard and that has stuck to my mind, and this is what helps me to remind myself of the self-awareness, of cultivating self-awareness. I heard once, or I read this somewhere, and it said, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. Now, if we really think of it this way, if I'm not putting my full attention or awareness into this conversation, how am I doing anything else that I'm doing? Am I putting my full efforts? Am I putting my whole heart into that? Probably not. Because if I couldn't put my whole heart into this 2-minute conversation and I couldn't keep my attention there, how am I going to do that for anything else? So even if I practice that for that 2-minute conversation, to be completely present and noting if my mind starts to wander, to bring it back. This is just without any judgment. Oh, I noticed my mind wandered, I brought it back. It's a practice. And slowly it will become second nature to the mind, just like I read out earlier. It becomes second nature to us to be completely present. Now I'm going to switch examples, and I'm going to take the example of taking a shower, for example, because all of us do that. While taking that shower, we might tend to have a lot of thoughts, right? Now, if we take it this way, we are cleansing the body. It is physically cleaning. But how about taking it as an opportunity to cleanse the mind as well? And to because on a more subtle level, water has the potential to cleanse a lot of negativities if we choose to let it be so. Because remember, energy is where our awareness goes. So during my shower, for example, I do try nowadays to implement this, and I visualize the water taking away anything that needs to be released out of my physical body, but also more on a subtle level. So any thoughts, any feelings, any negative emotions that don't serve me anymore, I just feel grateful for that water, say thank you to that water, and allow that water to take it away from me. All right, so let's say during that shower I was thinking of some plans that I have later on. I've missed out on an opportunity of cleansing, right? I've missed out. So I could have done both, physically cleaning and more on a subtle level together during those 5 to 10 minutes. Right. Taking another example is just another thing that we all do, probably ironing our clothes or washing the dishes. Try it out. This is how I have implemented it. While doing the dishes, am I completely present here? Do I know what I'm doing exactly? Or while cooking, and this has happened to me many times, those who know me know this, I keep maybe something on the pan and I'm busy thinking about something else and I burn my food, and this has happened many times. Again, I like to give personal examples because this is what I'm working on. So now I try to, whenever I'm in the kitchen or doing something, keep my full awareness, full attention there. And this is beautiful because when you're completely present there, you're doing something with your heart, with your full heart. You're pouring in positivity. And when it comes to food, it's even more important because you're going to eat that food, and that food becomes you. Right. Now, this is something that I have implemented. So taking time out to do some inner work. So every time I'm doing something, I ask myself a question. Am I here? Am I putting in my full attention? And I start this with phone calls. Even if it's a 2-minute phone call, I'm going to stop everything else and dedicate these 2 minutes to that phone call and to that person. Because I would like the other person to do that if I had called someone. Conversation, if you're living with someone, if you're living with a friend, with a cousin, with a colleague, give your full attention and awareness to any conversation that you might have. Now, another thing that I like to do is journal. Now, journaling, believe it or not, is a very ancient practice, Ayurvedic practice, and it has a lot of benefits. I'm not going to say all the benefits here, but I'm just going to say what is relevant to this topic. And I have two, one for the morning, one for the evening, or one for the night. And what I like to do is just write down my thoughts. Now, I don't do this every day, I do this every other day. Now, in the morning, I start off, of course, with my mindfulness practice, with my breathing. And after I finish that, I just write down any thoughts that might have crossed my mind while I was doing that breathing practice. Why wasn't my mind concentrated on my inhale and exhale? Why was it thinking about whatever that was? So I write down those thoughts, again, without any judgment. I'm just noticing. On the contrary, instead of judging, I feel grateful because I have actually come to that point where I can be aware, and I'm aware and I can notice consciously. So I write those down. I might never read those again, but at least I've written them down. And at night, what I like to do, and this is the most important for me, I do a little bit of inner work and I do a little bit of introspection, and I just look back at that day or any activities that I've had, any interactions that I have had, or anything that I have done, and I try to write down anything that I've noticed about myself, or the way I have responded or reacted to certain situations. Or I write down, because this is something I'm working on, I was in a conversation with this person, how many times did my mind wander? Because I've noticed it, now I am practicing noticing consciously, and I write those down. And what I like to see is that at the end of the week, sometimes I flip through the pages of the previous days, and I see that on the first day, I might write that I've done that about 4 times. My mind started to wander and I wasn't present. Then the second, third day, sometimes it's only twice or once. And then the last day I write that every single conversation I had, I didn't notice my mind wandering, but then I was completely present. And that makes me happy. It's small progress. And it is important to understand that it is about improving bit by bit, gradually, just like anything else. So take it slow, take it easy. As long as you're building that awareness, you're doing a great job. You're doing that inner work, and you will see. Please note this. Don't think that after maybe a day or two's practice, you think, oh, my mind is still distracted, this is not working. Trust me, you will notice a big change in the way you operate or you work in general. It'll be unrecognizable. You will be so self-aware, because all of this is about building self-awareness. You will be so self-aware of how you're doing things that you will see a great change in everything that you do, because you're putting in your full attention, your full awareness. And trust me, it will be a life changer. And it comes slowly. I'm still working on it, and hopefully it'll get better by the day. I trust this, and this is why I wanted to share it with you. Please do try it. Awareness is everything. And just like my parents always said it while I was growing up, if you're doing something, do it with your full heart and do it with full attention. Otherwise, don't do it. Just take a break. If you're not able to concentrate, just take a break, do something completely different, take a nap if you have to, and then come back. This is literally what my parents always said and still say. So that was that. I hope that you found it interesting or useful. Please do let me know. Leave a comment, leave a like, share this video, and please support my efforts to share mindful practices, or to just share things that can improve our well-being by subscribing to my channel. Thank you very much for watching. I wish you a great day ahead.